Greetings and salutations, this is another Rhino Barrow's Nerdsville. This video is more of a, it's like a continuation, not a continuation type thing, but it's a little bit of a continuation with a little bit of adding bits and pieces onto things. This video is dedicated towards a push for Japanese wrestling and Mexican wrestling and Australian wrestling to be broadcast on Australian television. Over here in Australia, we only have the World Wrestling Entertainment, the WWE, broadcast on the original play. You have an hour for, 3 hours for Raw, 2 hours for SmackDown, an hour each for Superstars, NXT. So we virtually have 1, 2, 4, we have 7 hours of straight up WWE broadcasting. Not to mention the two Raw repeat, the plus 2 on Fox 8, that's another 7 hours, that's 14, plus the weekend showings, which is another 14 hours again. So you've got 28 hours of nothing but World Wrestling Entertainment, which is beyond a joke, to be honest with you. And I'm being honest to you, Foxtel, the people who put this stuff on. You go, oh, the home of the WWE, Fox 8. How about getting like another sports channel up and running? Have New Japan Pro Wrestling, Old Japan Pro Wrestling, AAA Professional Wrestling, Lucha Underground Professional Wrestling. Those are 4 wonderful promotions of professional wrestling. You can also throw in Ring of Honor. You can throw in TNA. That's 6 more. That's 6 different promotions they can broadcast. You can have it called the Alternative Sports Network, and have on over the weekend those particular shows being like TNA Impact. You can have Ring of Honor the Ring of Honor shows being broadcast. You can have, as I said, AAA, Lucha Underground, New and Old Japan Pro Wrestling. There's also Shimmer and Shine, which are female-based professional wrestling organizations. That's 8 professional wrestling organizations that can be shown in Australia. Not to mention, on Aurora, there's always been a professional. Not always, but there's been there's been IWA. There's been AWF professional wrestling on Aurora. It's time for Aurora, or some wrestling fans who do have the time and money, to go, alright, we will do a professional wrestling type show. We'll do an hour and a half on Friday night after Game Attack, which would be beneficial for the Australian professional wrestling circuit. You can have one match from the Australasian Wrestling Federation, who as I said, I've made mention on a number of occasions that I'm a fan and a friend of. You can have TNT and Whiskey Jacks defending their tag team titles against Apollo and Darren Draven. You can even have some classic AWF matches with Raven coming down under, fighting for the AWF title. You can have Sanjay Dutt. You can have with PWA. Someone have if they had a viewing of Dick Togo doing his farewell tour. There have been great matches in Australia to be broadcast into Australian televisions. WCW Australia was the biggest thing in the 60s and 70s. The only sad thing to come out of that is that it didn't continue on. Didn't continue to be a growing thing. That people would come to Australia to wrestle. Like the greats like Andre the Giant, Classy Freddie Blassie, Ric Flair, Mr. Fuji. All those high do I have that book?
Nope.
Those high classic guys will come to Australia and wrestle. There are so many great things that Australia can broadcast when it comes to professional wrestling, and that's just Australian professional wrestling history by itself. Gil Kowalski came down under, the guy who trained Triple H. But this is where Foxtel is too pop-centric. It's like they bend over and go and open up their legs and say, "Come and screw us, WWE. We'll show nothing but your guys." I'm guessing that's the reason why a lot of people want to go to or sign up for the WWE, and that's because they get shown all around the world. As I said, it's time for Foxtel to allow Shimmer, Shine, New Japan, Old Japan, Ring of Honor, Australian-based wrestling organizations, AAA, Lucha Underground, TNA, all to be hey, bring in a death metal channel for the music networks, and you can throw in Combat Zone Wrestling. Now we can have 10 different wrestling organizations being shown on Australian networks. Have an alternative wrestling, maybe like an eternal, AS, Alternative Sports, AS2, AS3, Alternative Sports 1, 2, and 3. And on those channels you can have a war. You can have a ratings war on those channels. You can put Ring of Honor against TNA on the same night. You can have Shine versus Shimmer on the same night. You can have Old Japan versus New Japan. You have the Japanese block versus the Mexican block on those alternative sports networks. Hell, even have on that, death metal, channel, have TNA, Ring of Honor on the same night on those alternative sports channels, and on that on that hard rock heavy metal channel, have Combat Zone Wrestling. 3 organizations on a ratings war in Australia. You won't believe on how much people, true professional wrestling fans, would watch that. They might go, okay, I'll program this week's TNA and Combat Zone Wrestling, and I'll watch a Ring of Honor, or I'll do Ring of Honor, Combat Zone Wrestling taping, and watch TNA. TNA, Ring of Honor, then I'll watch Combat Zone Wrestling. You can have that sort of war in Australia. You can even have in Aurora have like a four-way wrestling war on 4 different networks competing for the same for wrestling audiences in Australia. There is a market for Australian wrestling. Hell, as I've made shown in previous videos, I've got 2 belts. One from a defunct belt from a organization that's been around for 19 years, and a replica of a former promotions tag team belt. There is a market for such things in Australia. Boost up the viewing. And you know what? With New Japan, Old Japan, and AAA, you can do the English subtitle thing, or even have it in this on, and even have an SBS Sports channel and have New Japan, Old Japan, AAA, Lucha Underground on that channel, which would be beneficial. You see, there are so many options to have these other wrestling promotions. You once did it for WCW and the World Wrestling Federation. You've done it for TNA. Why not do it now? You can still have your Fox 8 and all the WWE television programming there. But what about giving these other guys these other promotions a chance? Well, with one of the TV shows, is you giving from the top of Cairns down to the bottom of Tasmania, from the most eastern part of Australia to the most western part of Australia, and all points in between, a shot where they can apply their craft. You can have Wrestling New South Wales. You can have Pro Wrestling New South Wales, Pro Wrestling Queensland, Pro Wrestling Western Australia, Pro Wrestling Northern Territory, Pro Wrestling ACT, Pro Wrestling Victoria, and Pro Wrestling Tasmania. To see what best shows there are, and even promoting where the shows are going to be. Instead of having all these instead of having the diehard fan of that particular promotion going, okay, I want to see something new. And there are new guys coming into town, but they always get this new. But they're I know Facebook and that will show them where to go, but it'll be good to have you can even have a gossip section in Pro Wrestling Australia, which is just like the sports centre of Australian professional wrestling. You go, Space Boy Darcy, formerly of the AWF New South Wales branch, travelled up to Queensland. Now he's putting his wrestling boots in Riot City Wrestling in Melbourne. We wish him all the best. Hope that the continuation of Championship Glory goes along with him. Or you can have some guy from South Australia going to perform in Supernova in, say, Sydney. Well, wrestling fans, we have. If you wrestling fans are going to see, if going to Sydney for a supernova, guess what? You're this particular person, these two particular people, you can have a male wrestler or a female wrestler go, so you know what? We're going to Sydney. We're going to show the Sydney people that people in Adelaide know how to wrestle. And do something like that. Which would be good for Australian wrestling. Boost it up. But my point is, well, that's one point. But there's other point. You can broadcast everything. Australia's a multicultural, is a nation built on various people from various backgrounds. We don't always have to be force-fed this monopolized American PG rated crap. It's time for a huge professional wrestling change on Foxtel. We need, also on free-to-air television, we need this growth. SBS, SBS, I know you have a couple of channels on Foxtel and on free-to-air. I am begging you to start thinking of doing maybe a multiple sports channel, deciding yourself. Showcase the best of Japanese wrestling. Showcase the best of Mexican wrestling. Even show the best of Australian wrestling as well. Since on a couple of your TV shows that they are based in Australia, and you do have an indigenous based TV show, so have Australian based professional wrestling could be in your best interest to show such things. But man, there are just so much great stuff that other promotions have to offer. New Japan has this strong and technical style wrestling. The Old Japan, New Japan, strong technical style. TNA, Ring of Honor, all have like the traditional territory-based American wrestling promotion style. They're not big flashing in that. You need that shimmer and shine, showcasing the best of women's wrestling, which is the greatest thing to be shown. You know, in this stage of social justice warriors and all that stuff, you'd be saying, guess what? We are going to show female wrestling. We're not just going to be pushing this American male wrestling stuff. We're going to be showing you the best that what women wrestling can do. On top of that, you can show the best of what Mexico can do with AAA, Lucha Underground. You can show the best in, as I said, with that death metal, heavy metal, hard rock based music network. Like a one-off thing, with Combat Zone Wrestling. You just got there's a huge world of professional wrestling out there. Just don't stick to the WWE. I know you want to get your money's worth for professional wrestling, but you're going to get a lot more your money's worth instead of force feeding us this baby style of the world wrestling entertainment. I know it's a proven commodity, but it comes time to roll the dice, and if you can see where things are going well in these other promotions, you can still keep them on, and you can disregard the others. It's time for you to change, Foxtel. It's time for the Australian networks to change as well. The WWE is not the be-all or It's not the it thing. Like we have the neighbours and the home and aways of Australia. Some people don't like neighbours, so they watch home and away. Some people don't like watching home and away, so they watch neighbours. Quite a number of Australian professional wrestling fans do not like to watch the World Wrestling Federation, or the World Wrestling Entertainment in this case. Give them a chance to watch something else without them having to chew up data on their internet if they want to watch a New Japan, Old Japan, AAA, Lucha Underground style of matches. Shimmer Shine as well. TNA, Ring of Honor, Combat Zone Wrestling. Hell, even to watch Australian based feds to chew up data on YouTube. That's all what you're doing. You're forcing people to chew up data. And lastly on this topic, we need the WWE fans in Australia needs to see other things as well. In the Bible, it says a lot of things about giving infants milk and more mature people solids. All you are doing, Foxtel, all virtually the entire Australian broadcasting outlets are doing, is just showing the world, showing Australia the milk, not helping those to mature in watching things that are a bit more solid, a bit more meaty in their wrestling viewing. And to finalize, give more wrestling promotions a chance in Australia. I've been Ryan Barrows, and